United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects exist.
Hey.
Great. I want you to know really quick.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'll start it like this. Hey, what's up? My name's Noelle, and I spent too much money on a perfume.
You did. You told me how much you spent on that on eBay, and I was a little shocked.
So here's the thing, though. I don't know, like, if you know this. I know there's a few people out there who know this. Bianca knows this, that I am a fragrance gal. Like, I don't think anyone suspects it because I look like a garbage, but I look like a sewer rat. But I love fragrances, and I don't, like, go cheap on them. Like, right now, I had Valentino by Valentino. I have Marc Jacobs Daisy. I have a Tom Ford one. I'm blanking on the name right now. And then I have Ariana Grande Cloud because it's a knockoff of a really expensive one. And then I have samplers of like Thin Wild Mercury is the name of it. They do all natural perfumes based off of fragrances that were popular in the 70s. Some of my favorite shit in the entire world. And it's like, and I also have this really expensive one that my mom got me that's based off of Joan of Arc.
Okay.
And it's like
it's fire.
It's so fucking sick. Well, it's like this, I would describe it as earthy, smoky, and vibrant and floral. It smells like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's so fucking, there's like a poem that goes along with it, and it's just one of the most amazing things. It's a really expensive fragrance. It was a special gift for my mom because she knows how much I like fragrances. So I was at a wedding. I was at our friend Alex's wedding, and a woman walked past me, and like it was like chemicals exploded like in my fucking brain. Like literally it felt like I was zapped by lightning. I'm like, what's that smell? And everyone stops and sniffs because it's like that. It's strong, but not.
Yeah, not overpowering, but present.
She goes, oh, that's me. And I'm like, yeah, right. And then she goes, no, smell. She goes, it's a Fenty perfume that Rihanna came out with. And I was like, oh my God, it is you. And she's like, do you want a little spray? And she opens up her purse like God herself and sprays a little on me. And I felt like I just ascended. I just felt like I went above everybody else. And like I was telling you guys in the group chat, how I felt wearing that fragrance and how it wore on me throughout the day was kind of like how people were when they discovered fire. There's like no going back. There's no going back to the time after that. So I immediately went to look for it. And she goes, oh, it's sold out like the first hour that it was online, and it's like gone. And so then I was like, time to open my wallet and repent. And it came in today, and I sprayed it on, and again was levitated to the seventh dimension.
Yeah, you won it off eBay, luckily.
Yeah. So the bids were getting a little out of control on eBay, but this woman opened hers and had sprayed it twice, and people were like, no, I don't want an opened one.
Yeah.
It came in the original packaging and everything. I looked at it. She literally sprayed it twice. She just said, not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I buy stuff used off eBay all the time. So like, I don't even care. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? That's Chelsea.
Oh, hey, what's up? I actually don't own any perfume because of my smell issues, but if I were a perfume, it would be whatever's on sale at Bath and Body Works. So what's up?
That checks out for you. Also, don't think I didn't hear your Joan of Arc on fire comment. I did. I'm just refusing to acknowledge it because Joan of Arc is a god.
Yeah. She lit.
I hate you.
Not as much as I hate myself.
Woo! Also, could I say next week is FanX. I don't know if we're gonna do episodes next week. No, we're not. I don't
There's
want
no
to.
way. What I'm thinking of doing is like plugging a microphone into my phone and recording the panels and just releasing those.
Just record You don't even have to put a microphone. Just put your phone up and hit record. You could do audio only on your phone.
Yeah.
I was
That's
going
what
to
I'm
try to
thinking
see
about
if I
doing.
could get someone out to film our Sunday panel, Your True Crime Girlfriend,
It's a good idea, actually.
and then put it on Patreon. So yeah, there you go. There's some business. I was like, please say we're not going to do an episode next week because I am in fucking crunch time. Not a single moderator has created any groups. I have no idea what's going on. I just had to go to the like actual desktop site because that's where you can do the search to see
To
who the
find out?
moderator is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll give him till Friday, and today's Friday, and I was like, not a single moderator has started anything. Like, and then I was gonna post in that group and be like, hey, but I'm like, no, I'll just find him on Facebook. So yeah. Anyway,
Struggle.
that's how I'm just like, I want to make sure I'm the most prepared, but I don't want to be over prepared, if that makes sense. Like, if they wanted to go a certain way, like, I'm most concerned about my first panel, which is on Thursday, which is the folklore and modern day horror, because I'm like, they reference certain films in the description. So I'm like, do they have an outline of the films they want to talk about? And then we talk about the folklore that goes with that. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to know that outline beforehand, but we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah. I mean,
It
I
is
too
what
am
it is.
I can't even talk about how stressed I am anymore about Fanix. Stressed. I think that's why we're not doing a Patreon today, because I'm too stressed. Too stressed, ma'am.
Yeah.
And this
trust
episode
me.
stressed me the fuck out, by the way.
Oh, I can't
Today's
wait.
episode.
This was requested.
It was requested. I was at dinner and somebody mentioned they were like, what do you think about blood? Actually, let's just jump into it. This is requested. And I've actually noticed this trend for a little bit now that I'm into daily webtoon comics that take places in areas like Korea and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they have like a huge significance placed into different character blood types. Just like we tend to do with astrological signs here in the West. In the East, there are a lot of cultures who will do things like, oh, you're such a type O, or, oh, I bet you're an A, like A blood type. And there is kind of something to that, because according to Walden University, there are 4 blood type breakdowns, and this is essentially them. You have A, B, AB, and O.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what your blood type is?
I actually don't.
Me either.
I thought you were gonna ask this, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't." I got blood work done too, and it's online, but it doesn't say what type you are. It
Yeah.
just was telling me that like I was all these different levels are fine, and I was like, "How am I supposed to know?" I know that like
I checked my birth certificate, and it's not even on that.
it's not on your birth certificate. That's what I was gonna
No.
say. I wonder if it's there.
But if you're type A, mosquitoes are less attracted to you than any other blood type.
I know I'm not that
Positive.
because I get fucking eaten alive.
I think I'm either, my sister said I'm either A or AB, is what she said. B has 50,000 times the number of strains of friendly bacteria, the good bacteria. AB,
Interesting.
universal plasma donor, and O is the universal red blood donor. And they also have like a lower risk of pancreatic cancer and a lower risk of dying from malaria.
My mom is either A, B, or O because the blood banks like proactively reach out to her.
Yeah. She might be O. I feel like you've mentioned it before. But there are
She was
downsides.
also she also had the RH factor when she was pregnant with me.
We're going to talk about that.
Oh my god!
Dare I say that might be what this episode is about.
Is that why I'm stupid?
Yeah, actually. But there are cons.
You want to know how I know I'm born in unluck? I don't know what you'd call that. Is that my mom had the RH factor.
We can't talk about it yet. We can't talk about it yet.
Okay, wait, but they didn't come out with like, apparently it's this very simple test that you can take and it has like a very simple treatment. I think it might even just be like a fucking pill.
Yeah.
I was born, that thing came out like 3 months later.
Aw. But we are going to get into it for
okay,
real.
I can't wait. Okay, go
real
on.
into it.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So there are cons to them. So the downsides are of A blood, you have a 20% higher chance of developing stomach cancer and a 5% increased risk of heart disease.
Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah. Type B, 11% increased risk of heart disease and a raised risk of getting ovarian cancer. AB, 23% increased risk of heart disease and pregnant women are increased risk for preeclampsia. And for type O, mosquitoes are attracted to you the most, and you're more likely to rupture your Achilles tendon.
Whoa, the Achilles tendon is my fear.
Maybe you're type O.
No, I think my mom is type O. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I am. That's why I was an RH baby, because her blood was like boo boo ba ba ba.
Yeah. Maybe we can, because there are personality attributions, pros and cons to all the blood types. So maybe we can determine what type we are by just this chart.
Okay.
So, Noelle, are you earnest, creative, sensible, reserved, patient, and responsible?
I don't think I'm sensible or patient.
Okay, so you're probably not type A.
Probably not.
Are you passionate, active natured, creative, and strong?
What does active natured mean? Like I'm active by naturally? I'm just a naturally.
I guess.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's 50-50.
Okay, so maybe a B. Are you cool, controlled, rational, and adaptable?
I think all of those things minus cool.
Definitely. So you're not. So maybe A, B. Are you confident, self-determined, strong-willed, and intuitive?
All of those things besides intuitive.
Okay. So
what about you? Which one do you feel?
I don't think any. I don't know.
I feel like you are probably B.
I relate more to the negatives. So let's actually go down the negatives. Are you stubborn and tense?
Yes.
Probably type A. Yes, always.
Yeah.
Are you selfish, irresponsible, unforgiving, and erratic?
Yes, that's
Same.
it. That
Yeah.
ding, ding,
Wait,
ding, ding.
are you critical, indecisive, forgetful, and irresponsible?
Literally all of those things.
What about self-centered, cold, unpredictable, and a potential workaholic? Definitely not a workaholic.
Not a workaholic, but it's cold and unpredictable.
Okay, so maybe so we're maybe all of the we were kind of connect more with the negative, which there should be a subtype where it's like you think poorly of yourself, and that's what we would be. You know what? And when I asked my dad what blood type I was, he said like Z, and I was like, "You're fucking my father." Yeah, I was like, "That's not a thing, and you know it, isn't it?" But that actually seems pretty common, and it's really par for the course because, like us dumb plebs, scientists don't really know that much about blood either. And these blood types that we just talked about were first discovered in the 1900s by an Australian physician named Karl Landsteiner, who actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in Physiology and Medicine for his discovery. And what he discovered was extremely important because prior to this, like doctors knew absolutely not much about blood. They knew it was important, but they didn't understand why blood transfusions were horrifically killing their patients, mostly women. And this was because women lose a ton of blood during childbirth. And some doctors tried to remedy that by just straight up fucking injecting them with cow blood.
Jesus Christ, dude. Women have like never, ever had pregnancy has never been okay.
No.
Honestly, you want to know what's crazy? Besides the fact that like the likelihood of getting pregnant is insane in itself, but like childbirth is so violent and horrific. Like, how did humanity survive? The answer is the resilience of women and their pure strength, but it's crazy though, because like I watched a video recently, it popped up on my TikTok about like dilation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your cervix. That's the little, like, your cervix almost looks like a keyhole naturally. And it gets to the size of a motherfucking softball so it could squeeze out a baby. And I'm just like, it feels like there should have been a better way by now. It feels like we should have evolved to like a different system of childbirth because
like laying a small egg.
Yeah, laying a small egg.
We already have the egg. Why can't we just plop it out and then let that evolve and like
sit on it? We sit on it for 3 weeks because like There's no reason that the norm is that your fucking vagina and asshole rip into one. That shouldn't be the norm. That's literally like your birth is violent.
Yeah.
Birth is heavy metal and violent and horrific.
And
And knowing that there was a time when you would just be injected with cow blood,
yeah.
I just like, God.
Well, and there's like a chemical that your brain releases so that women forget. It's like our own bodies are working against us to force us to like be okay with getting pregnant and giving birth again. It's like, no, it was great. You loved it.
No.
You're like, really? My birth didn't seem that bad. No, it was bad. You ripped your asshole.
Yeah.
Um,
You ripped yourself a new asshole.
if I'm shitting in a room full of strangers, I'm probably not having a good time.
Yeah, and you will shit yourself when if
Yeah.
you give natural vaginal birth, you will. That
Yeah.
just is what it is.
You're pooping out a baby and poop.
Yeah, it
And
all
the
has
baby's
to.
probably pooping in you.
Yeah, no, it for sure
You're a
is. You know,
trifecta of feces.
born into shit, all of us, but not
All
me
of
though.
us.
I was a C-section.
I was water slide.
Yeah, and your mom had popped a few out before you though, so she was ready to go.
Yeah, I came out. I was actually like super overdue. I was due on August 8th, and then I ended up coming out August 23rd, and then I wrecked her physically, which is probably what killed her years later. Was just my giant fucking
you-
little Buddha body.
Were you a big fat baby?
I was, yeah. So when I was born, the first thing I ever heard on Earth, and I'm proud of this, was the doctor went, "Whoa, it's a big one." And that was me.
Oh my god!
There's like pictures of me as like a newborn where
And
I
you-
look like I'm a few months along because
look
I was
scary.
just rolls on rolls.
You know that big scary fat baby from Rugrats? Is that what you looked like?
Yes,
Wow.
I looked like a huge fat baby. Also
Wow.
very cute though. But you know, luckily they didn't inject my mom with cow's blood because what would have resulted from that would have been vomiting, sweating, peeing. And the peeing, I was like, what do they pee? Just pee? That's not that bad. It's pee that could only be described as chimney soot
Oh shit.
and then death. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the only way that doctors were able to successfully complete blood transfusions was just good old fashioned trial and error brought to us by Carl Landsteiner.
God. That's the crazy thing is like how many women had to die by cow blood? They're like, didn't work on the last one. Let's try it again. Like,
Tens of thousands of years.
God.
Because blood's importance went all the way back to like ancient Greece. It was like one of the phlegms or whatever. And
yeah.
they're like, we need it. That's where like blooding, I don't know, like
Yeah, well,
leeches
we've
and
been
shit.
obsessed with blood as humanity, like bloodletting rituals. Like
Mhm.
everyone was like, "Oh, you got a headache? Let's let out some blood." People, blood is thicker than wine or whatever that saying
Yeah.
is. Like it's been people been knowing, but they just don't know enough.
They went a different direction with the cow thing. And we're going to get into a little bit of the science behind mixing blood types. So essentially what happens and why it can be dangerous to get different blood types outside your own, including cow blood, is that mixing them can cause the cells to clump. Clumping is bad. If A blood gets mixed with A blood, no clumping. No clumping is good. But if you try to mix A with B blood, you get clumping. Clumping bad. Liquid good, clumping bad. Clumping leads to blood clots, which disrupt a body's circulation, which leads to all sorts of other internal problems, heart attacks, aneurysms, things like that,
Yeah.
things that result in death. So how do we get the different blood types? It's kind of like the key question that scientists just don't really have an answer for. Blood is old. Blood precedes humans old. And what Carl was doing was testing the different blood types and kind of trying to trace their history and their lineage through evolution. And what he found is that there is some monkey blood which can mix with human blood and not cause any clumping. And this is where we really get into that shared common ancestor thing because obviously if we can mix blood, it means that there's a connection.
Yeah.
But there's a mysterious third party who at one point or another kind of like tagged themselves into this lineage and caused huge disruptions to humans and apes alike. So let's talk about apes a little bit. They only have two blood types, A and O. And I was like, ha ha ha, if you have B blood, you're like, or if you have A or O blood, you're a monkey blood, type thing. But
Yeah.
also like gorillas only have type B blood.
That's so weird. So it's
right?
like we've evolved from monkeys and gorillas separately,
Yes.
but it's the same.
Yeah. And they're all mixed. And O mixes with everything.
Yeah.
And AB mixes with all plasma. But all of these blood types contain certain types of mutations. And so it's really hard to determine when they actually became a thing. But one thing is certain, blood types are traits passed on by millions of years of evolution and serve absolute biological benefits. Some blood types handle disease better, like malaria, and some blood types where they seem, it just seems like they adapt, like we said earlier, like you're less likely to get ulcers if you have a certain blood type, but you're more likely to have heart disease if you have a certain blood type. At some point, these were absolutely necessary to function. And while the differences seem like they may be vast, essentially they're all just siblings living in the same house. And this is where we get into a different blood type. There is a type of blood that lives in no house, Noelle. It lingers in the dark and it just waits for the right fucking time to kill you.
Yes.
You specifically, Noelle.
Me.
Because we know what Rh negative blood is. Because you are one of the unfortunate freaks of nature whose mother's blood tried to kill them at birth. You're probably not an Rh negative one, but your mom probably is.
Probably.
Blood tried to kill you. So tell us a little bit about your birth.
I was an emergency C-section because I was killing my mom. And they
allegedly, she started it.
We'll never know. The C-section was more to just save her. And I was in an incubator for a time after I was born. No one was allowed to touch me. I just had to go cook. And I got some blood transfusions. And yeah, my mom looked like, I wish I could find this picture. I know it's somewhere on my phone of my mom right after giving birth to me. And she looks like a fucking vampire. She looks so terrible. Like she had like the darkest, almost looked like she took black eyeshadow and put it all underneath her eyes. But she knew that someone was coming to take her picture. So she had put lipstick on. And it was just like, it was, the early 90s.
I was going to say, it was probably like a glamorous mess. Just
it was like literally this, like, what would you call that? Like a dark red, almost purple, like the most quintessential early 90s, like Alanis Morissette lipstick. So she's got that on and she's lost a fuck ton of blood. And so she looks white, like a sheet. And she's just like in a bed, like with the sheet over her because she literally just had a C-section.
Yeah.
And just like looking at the camera, like with trying to smile, but she's also kind of dying.
She looks like what I would imagine any person on this planet would look like having given birth to you.
It's completely true.
Yeah, the accuracy.
Completely true.
And a lot of people are vaguely aware of this because it's common. They're called Rh babies.
Yeah.
And they have to get blood transfusions at birth or else their mother's body attacks them like the parasite that they are.
It's true. Oh. It's completely true. Also, unfortunate for me and other Rh babies that were born in the early 90s before the Rh test came out, which apparently is like you get it almost immediately after finding out you're pregnant and then you could take like a fucking pill and you're fine. But also what happened simultaneously, again, I was born into unluck. This is how I know. Like, I just gotta, it is what it is. My life has been on a trajectory since conception. Was the AIDS crisis was at a peak in the 90s when they found out that there were contaminated donated blood specimens. So I got blood transfusions at birth in 92 when they had found out that there was contaminated blood in the mix. I don't have AIDS, thankfully, but it
could have easily.
Could have easily. Yeah, crazy time.
Terrifying. Man, that is scary, actually. Damn. So the basic explanation too for Rh factor blood is this. Positive means your blood has the Rh protein, and negative means you don't. Most of us are positive. It's A positive, B positive, AB positive, O positive. If you have the negative, that means you don't have that Rh protein surrounding your blood. But you want to know who else had Rh negative blood?
Who?
Jesus.
How do we know
how we know it?
How do we know Jesus' blood type?
The Shroud of Turin, which is famously the artifact containing the blood of Christ, which was laid over his body after he died, has been tested, and the blood on it is AB negative blood.
How do we know that's real?
The Shroud of Turin. It's like one of those faces baked into a piece of toast type thing. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it.
No, I've never. What?
It's a piece of cloth that was laid over Jesus's body, and then it's crazy looking.
It sounds like snake oil. Jesus cloth.
Well, it's the Shroud of Turin. I'll slack it to you.
Shroud.
But it's like a very famous religious artifact that I guess you're.
This looks fake.
There's been a lot of testing done on it. We could probably do a whole episode on where the Shroud of Turin came from.
This looks so fucking fake.
But the Shroud of Turin has been tested, and it is AB negative blood, which makes people think that. And what you're looking at, I'm sure what you're looking at is the X-ray of it, because when you look at the Shroud of Turin, nothing shows up until you X-ray it.
Convenient.
Anyway,
real fucking convenient.
Here's the thing with Rh blood.
Okay, you can't talk about the blood when you're like, oh, there's Jesus' dead face on a cloth and fucking
just
blood.
Just like everything with Jesus, he's there.
Oh, it's a whole body. It's not just his face; it's his whole body. This looks so fucking.
Oh my god, we're not talking about the Shroud of Turin right now.
God.
We're moving on.
Fake. Okay.
We're moving on. Rh blood. We can track it through evolution. If it's positive. If it's negative, then like cats, it only popped up in human history fairly recently, and we have literally no fucking idea where it came from. It has, and I want you to really hear this, literally zero earthly trace.
Rh negative?
Rh negative.
From the cats.
Well, it's like cats.
What do you mean
only just popped up. Like fucking alien cats. We did a whole episode about it.
Yes, I thought you were saying that we had the same blood as cats.
No, we don't.
Rh negative just came out of nowhere. And that is
absolutely nowhere.
What my mom is.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. This all checks out.
Well, so what does Rh negative blood look like? Well, we only see it in humans, quote unquote humans. People with this blood type can have an extra vertebra, lower body temperature, lower blood pressure. They can be sensitive to heat and light. They actually can't be cloned, which is insane.
What?
Yeah. So you and I could be cloned, but people with Rh negative blood, for some reason, they can't be cloned. They're more likely to have fair traits, but more likely green eyes and red hair. And
my mom does have. I don't know if it's green or blue.
Your mom is a very blonde woman.
Yeah, and she has green or blue eyes. Zoe has green eyes too. I have blue.
And here's where it gets really weird. They are more likely to experience unexplained phenomenon such as alien abductions. And this is according to the Journal of Medical Science and Clinical Research.
Is this going to be some fucking Smithsonian bullshit?
Most alien abductions have happened to Rh negative motherfuckers.
No shit.
Medical science and clinical research. So interesting enough, this is kind of where Rh negative blood and Jesus get tied together.
Aliens.
There are camps that want to argue that Jesus was a Caucasian, which is false. There's no white people in the Bible.
Yeah.
They use the Rh negative features like fair skin, fair eyes, and higher IQ to attest that this commonly European blood makes them superior. So it's just essentially their eugenics.
Yeah. Shout out everyone who believes in white Jesus is a Nazi. I said it.
So Rh negative blood, there's a lot of positive attributes that people try to tie in with it, and it's just for like that sub race war that's going on, and they're like, well, Rh negative blood is mostly European and it makes us special. It doesn't make you special, because I'm in camp 2, which means that Rh negative blood means you're a fucking alien, bro.
This
you are
checks
not
out
from Earth.
I would agree to this. My mom is definitely an alien.
Absolutely. And we're not here to talk about Jesus and space blood. So I just want to make sure everyone knows this isn't a religious episode.
It always circles back, baby. It always circles back.
It's about this point where things really got away from me this episode. And I didn't expect it. I was genuinely trying to educate myself about the different blood types. When all of a sudden the scientifically published paper came out of the fucking blue and started dropping some insane truth bombs.
Don't think this is a scientifically I feel this is going to be another Smithsonian lies. I feel it in my blood.
It is like actual published research. And here's what it said. Many scientists around the world now claim that these Rh negative people have been abducted by aliens and have extraterrestrial origin. Although it is difficult to explain such theories scientifically, no strong evidence about the origin of Rh negative blood groups exist. And this was in my upfront research. This was in my Google facing research where I'm just trying to like get an idea so that we're not coming in blind about what Rh means so that I can explain it in a reasonable way. So I started to comb through the sources listed in the scientific paper, and I wanted to pick out anything that mentioned aliens, man on men type stuff. And I really struggled because when we cannot explain something in history, the common conclusion that people tend to go to are aliens. So crop circles caused by aliens.
I mean, have you seen a crop circle?
Yeah, aliens.
I told
That's the only
about
explanation.
The crop circle from my childhood. Yeah.
Yeah, it just popped the fuck up out of nowhere. You saw it. Aliens.
And then like some local stoners were like, we did it. And then I looked back on it recently with you and I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. Look it up. Fairfield, California crop circle.
Yeah. If you look at ancient art and there's flying objects in there, fucking aliens. What's Roswell hiding, Noel?
Aliens.
It's always aliens. And don't read me for filth, but according to a Gaia article.
Jesus fucking Christ. Gaia? See? This is Smithsonian lies all over again.
Don't read me for filth, but contemporary truth seekers speculate that the gods in our ancient stories are actually ancient astronauts or a species from another world. These astronauts found Earth and through interbreeding with apes or humans or by genetic modification in a spaceship lab, spliced extraterrestrial genes with primate or human genes, creating a hybrid or a modern man. This would mean that our ancestry is of alien origin, a mixed breed with bloodlines that extend beyond our planet. Some believe this interaction and experimentation continues and was the source of the evolution of man through different versions, one improving upon the other. Others believe, this is what camp I'm in, that they now live among us freely, and because of the early development of the man-alien hybrid, they can naturally interbreed with humans, slowly homogenizing the bloodline and assimilating with ease. If that's true, then why couldn't we trace this added bloodline through the gene pool?
So this Gaia article is saying that humanity's like evolution happened because some aliens got bored and played scientist.
What this article is summarizing is what we just fucking explained through science. There is a blood type that popped the fuck up out of nowhere and we have no idea why. And what happens in history when we have no idea? Aliens.
Sure, yeah.
And in my opinion, it has been traceable this whole time if you look at Rh negative blood. For a long time, we've been trying to figure out what makes people lucky enough to be abducted by aliens or have alien encounters. And you and I were dumb enough to think that it had something to do with how bad we wanted it. But really, it came down to our literal fucking blood.
Okay.
A lot of people really want to buy into the idea that their blood makes them special space babies who serve as little science beacons to be abducted and tracked by extraterrestrials. And really, all we have to say to people like that is they're absolutely right.
Okay. Yeah.
And with Rh negative blood,
I just want you to know that I tried calling my mom to ask her if she's ever had an alien experience. And she ignored my call. So obviously the bitch is an alien.
Yeah, alien. Any mom who doesn't answer the call of their child, can they really consider themselves a human mother?
That's what I'm saying.
Ask
that
her
is
what
exactly what I'm saying.
Food is.
Yeah.
Watch her fucking struggle.
She's probably unzipping her human flesh right now and moisturizing her alien scales, and that's why she couldn't answer. She also works
Yeah.
at the hospital, so probably also maybe
oh my
busy.
god.
But-
so she can access the blood.
Yeah.
How many babies have died on her watch? How many other babies has she tried to kill?
So many.
Oh my
Literally
god.
all of them.
And according to the Washington City paper, the evolutionary purpose of this Rh negative blood has not been nailed down yet. We can kind of determine, like we said earlier, what some of the benefits and the pros and cons of A, B, and O blood is, but Rh negative blood really doesn't have anything. And since we cannot track it through evolutionary lines, it means it was introduced through outside means. And in fact, by evolution alone, Rh negative blood really shouldn't exist in the first place. So to put it simply, Rh negative blood means that one of the parents did not possess the same species blood type when mating, which means that early humans were knocking boots with something or someone that we cannot find evidence of in this earthly plane. And literally,
Aliens.
we can only inherit what our ancestors gave us. And our ancestors did not give us Rh negative blood.
Nothing has ever made more sense than this right now.
This is all non-conspiracy. I know the aliens being interwoven in, but everything having to do with Rh negative blood does not make sense.
Well, what does the military say? They say UFOs are just unidentified. Doesn't mean that they're alien. It just means it's unidentified. That's the same thing here, you know?
Yeah. So let's actually take a look at our ancestors then. The Mayans are one of the most ancient civilizations.
Also, peace and love to you.
Yeah.
I see you citing a WordPress website. It's not a good look. It's not
I
a
don't
good
think
look.
I actually used this one.
It is not a good look. A WordPress site from 2013, none the fucking less. intelexposed.wordpress.com. Maybe not your trusted news source, but peace and love.
I don't remember what source I used because I don't. I know
Gaia and Intel Exposed.
No, it was like essentially the
WordPress.
Washington Post, man.
Yeah, I believe you.
First.
Yeah, I believe
The
you.
.com article just nicely summarized what I was trying to say, so I used it.
It's totally fine. I was just completely buying into it until I saw
Okay.
that source.
So, well, this stuff is what I'm about to tell you is actually not conspiracies. If you're curious, the Mayans, not a conspiracy, existed, also not a conspiracy, and they made incredible architectural masterpieces, which still baffle modern man to this time.
Yeah, they created basketball.
well in the pyramids of South America as well.
Two equally fantastic contributions
Same tier.
to humanity.
And where the Egyptians, they're like, no, we built it. And then a lot of people are like, oh, it's probably aliens helped them. The Mayans actually attribute all of their knowledge required to build such things to a god called Itzamna. Itzamna was the Mayan god of heaven, day and night. And he is the hero who brought mankind writing, the calendar. Mayans are famous for their calendars,
They
and
sure are.
medicine. And interestingly enough, Itzama and his comrades of the sky are what the Mayans call the iguana men. And similar to the Mayans are the Hopi Indians, famous for their belief in Kachina dolls and religious
Kachina
ideology.
doll.
Also, fun fact, Hopi hairstyles are why we have the best hairstyle known to man, Princess Leia's space buns. The Hopi
Really?
women wore their hair in space buns, yeah. And that's where George
Wow.
Lucas got his inspiration to do Princess Leia's hair the way that he did, because she was a
Wow.
warrior woman.
Wow.
Cool, right?
That's a great fact.
It is a good fact, also not a conspiracy. And one of the main famous religious ceremonies by the Hopi is something that they call the snake dance. And they believe that snakes are messengers sent directly from the heavens. And if they do not continue to honor the earth and revere snakes, they will be rejected by snakes completely and fall, like all of mankind will fall into the ruins of a race as a collective race. Another thing to note is that Navajo tribes have very strict rules against looking at snakes if they're eating, mating, or shedding their skin, believing that doing so will affect their mental and physical health. And this rule is so revered that zoos near Navajo Indian reservations have had to completely shut down entire reptile exhibits to honor like the culture surrounding the Navajos rules.
Also shut down all zoos. There's no point. We have Google.
Yeah, do conservation zoos, like rehab zoos, like our aquarium. They like rehab the animals and then release them back to the wild.
Yeah, rehab centers or conservation zoos that are literally just the like land conservation efforts working with animal conservation. So we're both preserving nature and animals. Come on, you guys. Like, let's get real.
Absolutely. It's time to live in the now.
Yeah.
And these people are all onto something here because there definitely is a reason to fear and respect reptiles. And that's because the reptilian overlords are still here and they're just biding their time to fucking strike.
Woo! Here it comes. Here we are. We're here. Noelle. Yeah, I see. This is where the WordPress.com source
this
comes
is also
in.
not a conspiracy. Well, part of this is a conspiracy. I'll let you figure out which part. At the height of ancient Sumeria, there was an alien race from the Alpha Draconis star system who descended onto Earth and began mating with some of our ancestors, which started to alter our genetic history.
My mother!
Now, not a conspiracy. Everything we know about these reptilians are in the ancient Sumerian texts, and they speak about gods who came from the sky and began mating with humans. And I know for a fucking fact you've heard of these gods before because the Sumerians called these reptilians the Anunnaki.
Oh, absolutely, baby. Let's get it popping.
And now there was a time where there wasn't any mention of reptiles involved the Sumerian people, but boom. All the fucking sudden, these Anunnaki were everywhere in Sumerian texts, and there was a huge shift in the worship practices of these ancient Sumerians, where everything began to be prevalently centered around reptiles. That's not something we see in ancient history, where an entire religion completely modifies itself, does a 90-degree turn, where it goes from worshiping its gods to worshiping reptiles.
Yeah, specific deities.
And this is all not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Evident in Sumerian texts.
Yeah, the Anunnaki is very real. Very real.
Absolutely. And that's where we get a lot of like, it kind of stems like a ton of different conspiracies because the Sumerians knew things that they technically shouldn't have known based on like where man was on the historical timeline at the time. But we can go into that another time. But what happened was these reptilians kicked off a millennia of power struggle between mankind and these evil lizard people. Because if you want to keep an entire race enslaved, what do?
Fuck them.
Step 1, infiltrate their ranks.
Okay. I was
by
close.
fucking them. That was
okay, there we go.
Because once they start doing this, you begin to see very strange genetic mutations that have no business to exist in our bloodline whatsoever, aka Rh negative blood. And this blood type, which entered the ranks of mankind, is so toxic to our existence that it literally causes the body of the mother to try to annihilate her precious human babies. Yeah, Noelle is the precious human baby.
You can tell.
Step 2 of the process, rise to power and keep a boot on the necks of mankind and its global masses. And I know people have heard me joke about Hillary Clinton being a reptilian, but now is the time to let everyone know that I've been fucking serious about that claim this entire time.
I know you have.
You know, David Icke, hero of the podcast, wrote something known as the Babylonian Brotherhood, and that breaks down the ins and outs of how we're subjected to reptilian control. So let's go through a couple of suspects who are part of this elite reptilian bloodline. First and foremost, the devil herself, Queen Elizabeth. The second, our Elizabeth right now. This is the one who has cloning compounds and uses all of our humans, one of them being Britney Spears, which was discussed on another episode.
Yes.
Where it's blood sacrifices all to fuel her sick reptilian agenda. This is a quote from The Richest. David Icke argues that it is specifically these royal bloodlines that descended from hybrid reptilian humanoids, and that the queen is definitely a shapeshifter. In 2010, an Aboriginal man named William Combs made an official declaration claiming that Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip abducted 10 children from a Kamloops residential school in 1964. Combs claims to have witnessed this and was the last surviving member of a group of witnesses. But Combs died suddenly the following year in a Vancouver hospital. And in 2013, the International Common Law Court of Justice in Brussels actually issued an order to arrest the Queen. She was allegedly convicted of these crimes on February 28th, 2013, but finding evidence of this case online proves to be futile.
I mean, we all remember what Prince Philip looked like before he fucking died. That was an animated corpse.
Yeah,
of course,
an animated reptilian corpse.
Yeah.
Anyone who stands against Princess Diana is a devil from another world.
It's true.
And they have no place amongst humans. I
Not
can't
even.
wait for this bitch to die.
It's like literally.
The only good thing about Queen Elizabeth, little corgis. That's it.
She just has them to seem human.
That's right. Poor things. We got to get them the hell out of there.
Someone go steal the corgis.
Another one, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I agree with that because no one can like age in reverse in public, and
It's true.
and we think that's okay.
Also, she is rumored to only consume red meat and red wine. When she was
What?
married to, yeah, weird, right? And when she was married to Billy Bob Thornton, she infamously wore a vial of his blood around her neck, and she
Yeah.
allegedly keeps all of her children's used bandages. The list of weirdness goes on and on. But if you Google Angelina Jolie and alien, there are countless videos and articles, albeit super out there, videos and articles that claim to have proof of Jolie shape-shifting. And all of these videos point to her slit-like reptilian eyes. And there is even video online of this happening in the 1999 film Girl Interrupted.
This is just an excuse to get everyone to rewatch Girl Interrupted, which is
I don't mind Girl
absolutely.
Interrupted.
I loved the book, loved the movie even more.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Absolutely stellar cast.
I did watch the video. Her eyes do go a little slitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And other theories are that these shapeshifters take out influential people and then reemerge as these new personality media babies. Remember, we said Rh negative people cannot be cloned, but they can shapeshift. So let's look at Miley Cyrus, who went from Disney angel, precious, national treasure, Hannah Montana, to a corrupted little space turd twerking for Satan on the global stage and naked swinging around on wrecking balls. They got Miley. They got fucking Hannah Montana. Look at her now. I actually prefer her now.
I do.
That
prefer
just
her
means
now.
I'm weak-minded.
Yeah.
And strange deaths surround these lizard people in really inexplicable ways. So ex-lizard Dick Cheney accomplished quite a
Ex-lizard?
bit.
How is he an ex-lizard?
Isn't he dead?
Dick Cheney's not. Is Dick Cheney dead?
I thought Dick Cheney was dead.
I thought Dick
Is
Cheney
Dick
got shot in the
Cheney-
butt by George Bush.
No, he shot someone.
He's alive.
Oh, well, current lizard man Dick Cheney, my bad, redacted, accomplished quite a bit during his shitty life, which is still going on. He directed Operation Desert Storm, which resulted in the deaths of about 5,000 people. He also served as the CEO of Halliburton, the world's largest oil company. He would fucking know a lot about subterranean things, considering that's from where he came. He also visited Roswell once, and just after leaving the area, this is not a conspiracy, 24 cows dropped dead for no fucking reason other than Dick Cheney's lizard presence.
I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. That is the reason.
Absolutely. And so for those of you who have had your blood tainted by reptilian enemies, aka Noelle's mom,
Me.
there are ways to check and see if you have any of these reptilian traits. Cold-bloodedness. Do you prefer warm temperatures?
No.
I bet you fucking do, reptilian scum.
What? I don't like being hot.
Oh, are you a night owl? Do you have unhealthy sleep patterns that tend to make you
Yes.
stay up late?
I don't sleep.
Or are you just fucking light sensitive, you piece of shit cave dwelling
I am like
night hunting bastard? Look at you.
Look at my I never use lights in my home.
Yeah. To mimic the cave that you grew up in.
It's
Your mother's chamber that's full of skeletons
Full of
and
secrets.
pieces of old tin. Yeah.
You missed
Are
that.
you paranoid or skeptical? I bet you are. I would be too if I had something to hide.
I'm not as skeptical as you, but I am pretty paranoid.
You think I'm skeptical, but more paranoid than I am? That's a
Yeah.
compliment. So I do say thank you. And do you have low blood pressure? I'm sure you would want to credit that to your vegan lifestyle and exercise, but I bet it's because you've genetically adapted to run down your human prey, you bloodthirsty bastard.
Yeah, I was gonna say my blood pressure has been fine.
Mine is too, but I've never had blood pressure problems. But let's wrap it up. RH blooded people may not be your enemies, but they probably are.
I bet. Yeah.
So how do we fight back? That's $1 million question. And I genuinely wish we had an answer. Perhaps the most convincing case for the reptilian conspiracy is that any information that David Icke put out there to help us resist the reptilians has essentially been scrubbed from the internet.
Probably totally not because he's like a fucking racist. That's for sure. Probably not
Maybe.
why.
But what's left are flashy GIFs and YouTube videos showing badly edited videos where people apparently shift. It's putting out the false flags of shitty information to hide the true information, which is something we see in a lot of things, aka Antarctica. Always comes back to Antarctica.
How can we forget?
And there was one thing that I found, tangible evidence, which would tell us how to fight the reptilians. And it was a book available on Amazon. Don't support Jeff Bezos, though, called We Are the Nuberians. It doesn't matter. Return of the 12th Planet, where the author insists that there is only one way we can fight the reptilians, which is with love. It is to stop fighting and integrate with them. So my God, Noel, it's already too fucking late.
Wait, he's saying integrate, like fuck aliens?
Just love them, man. They infiltrated the other side and put their propaganda in there, trying to get more of us precious humans to procreate with these reptilian motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Love? Fight fire with love? No. Here's all we can offer. Don't procreate with RH negative people. Dad, talking to you. Stay ever vigilant. And I'll end with this. Godspeed, human warriors.
Whoa.
Godspeed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I am so upset that my mother did not answer my call asking if she has had an alien experience.
Is if I texted your mom and she answered.
I would literally throw my phone out the window. No, I'm pretty sure she's at work. If she calls me back, though, I'll ask her if she's had alien experiences.
Yeah. Also ask her what the fuck her problem is.
So many.
Also, I'm so conflicted because your mother is a saint and she's like one of the nicest people alive. But you know what? If I had something to hide, I'd want to put people off my trail of attempted murder too.
I mean, my mom has been a stay-at-home mom almost all of her life since having children. And I think that requires like an alien overlord energy to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. So what we've learned today is that your mom is evil.
I mean, yeah.
So
yeah, you should see, want to know why I know my mom is evil? Because she has such horrific OCD that it manifests itself at deep cleaning at 3 a.m. And by deep cleaning, I'm talking like a toothbrush on her hands and knees,
it's to scrub up all the blood of the humans she's killed. I do have something to confess. There was a lot of traits for reptilians, including OCD, that I chose to omit from the episode because I didn't want anyone to think of reptilians.
This checks out. My mom would pour bleach, just straight up bleach, like half a thing of bleach into the toilet and let it sit so that she could clean it later. And so then when you'd get up to go to the bathroom at 2 a.m. and you'd go pee and your pee would hit the bleach water, it would like sizzle your butt crack because it would make like a chemical reaction.
I like
burn
that.
your
it's
butt
how
cheek.
You know you're clean.
No.
Yeah.
That's how I know my mom's evil.
Yeah. She's unaffected by fire and chemical warfare.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it is true.
Yeah, Amy.
You've got some explaining to do.
Yeah, you got splaining to do.
You got some explaining to do.
You don't have to watch your back. I'd never do anything to harm you, but I just wish it went both ways in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. I've always slept with one eye open.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
I hope we all feel better educated now.
I sure do. I was really with you there in the beginning, and then it got a little off the rails. But I do think the Rh negative issue of it not being traced to anything of this earth is very interesting.
Very interesting. We can only inherit what our ancestors gave us.
Yeah. And
We have no ancestor on Earth that gave us Rh negative blood.
on Earth because they're a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Also, gotta figure out what's going on with that Jesus cloth, dude. That is such.
I can't believe I thought I put like such a fraction of a sentence in about it, and I can't
How
believe
the fuck do you think that you could be like, oh yeah, this cloth that has the literal like picture perfect in detail full body image of Jesus, and I'll just be like, well, we'll zoom past that. Yep,
the Shroud
that
of
is the
Turin.
most faked. I've seen a person in a white sheet run past a camera fast that was more believable as ghost footage, and that is of Jesus.
We could do an episode about like
This
religious
is the episode.
artifacts.
That is
but-
fake. That is fake.
Well,
That I cannot.
there
believe
are
that
a lot
anyone,
of reputable people who cannot explain the Shroud of Turin.
I can. It's a
Well-
fake. It's fake. If there's anything that the Mormon bombings have taught us, it's that everyone will sell the lie if it keeps their fake gods real. And that's exactly what that little fucking sheet is. There is no fucking. It's just like, oh boy, you're yep, a fucking little sheet with Jesus's entire body, head to toes, just sitting all coffin status. Bull fucking shit, man.
The blood on it is real, and it is AV negative.
Yeah, I bet it is real. Not his.
I'm not here to convince you about the Shroud of Turin. I don't. I know about it. We could do an episode where we put all of the evidence for and all of the evidence against and compare it. But there is a lot of compelling mystery about the Shroud of Turin. I'm not going to say that it proves the existence of a religious deity or not, but it is a very fucking weird thing. There's a lot of shit that is weird with it.
Yeah, just like perfectly planted crime scene evidence. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll get to that another time.
Noelle has a vendetta now against just fucking religious artifacts that we got to cover now.
Because it's literally just like, it's the most faked thing in the entire world. It just looks so fake.
I said it had that burnt toast vibe.
Yeah.
Picture.
Yeah, it literally is just like they couldn't even get a good artist in there to do like a nice rendition. They were just like, Jerry took anatomy drawing in college 30 years ago, and they're like, put him on it. He gives us this like literally burnt toast Jesus on a fucking piece of cloth.
You know what?
What?
I don't only like toast. I love toast. So who am I to say?
Well, if I start believing that fucking shroud is Jesus's blood body perfectly inked on there like a fucking stamp, then I better be smelling burnt toast because I'm having a fucking stroke.
Fair. All right. Well,
yeah. And with that, to the clearly doctored blood cloth, I say, hail Satan.
Hail humans, man.
Yeah,
Never thought
also-
I'd say that because we suck, but we're better than the reptilians. That's for damn sure.
I mean, at this point, it's tough to say.
Also, follow us on social media.
Oh, yeah. Follow us on social media. That's Sith Lard. I'm Noelle Fain. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram, even though Chelsea doesn't check her Twitter because people are now DMing me about the messages they've asked her on Twitter that she's left unanswered. We are Go to Hell Podcast on everything as well. We have a Facebook group. We have a Discord. We have merch on Teespring that you can click the link in our Instagram bio. And of course, Wildwood Owl, Kelly Holloran making the sickest stickers and pins. Patreon people, you should have gotten your shit. Holler at us if you haven't. And then that's also a shout out to everyone. Patreon.com/Go to Hell Podcast. $1 gets you everything. And we sometimes give you stuff too, physically in the mail, even though some of you
Unless
guys are
it's
not in the United States and it's kind
Unless
of
it's a
expensive.
Lemurian crystal too.
Oh my god!
But
You
find
stupid
us at
bitch.
Comic-Con if you're local.
Both people who got the seed crystals are not in Utah, so you need to get your shit together, Chelsea.
I know. I'm going to close out the episode as soon as I say this, but work today put me in charge of some shipping and receiving hardware.
I know, because I
so
said
bad.
that's funny because Chelsea has been sitting on a shipment for 6 months now.
So we're about to see how hard I can fail in my podcast life and in my professional life.
Can't wait.
And I bid you adieu.
Adios.
Adios.